NBA 2K26 builds are going to be insane, guys. A lot of creativity, a lot of possibilities are happening, and I got you covered. I'm doing a deep dive in each of the different build potentials. We have a bunch of builds already revealed, more than you know, and I am going to basically showcase a bunch of them. First thing I want to say is thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment if you rock with me. It's going down all year long. So here we go. So, first of all, there's a lot to cover for the new information when it comes to my player, aka the builder, and my career things. So, you want to lock in, make sure you stick around for all the different parts while I break every single thing down. Today, we're going to dive into a deep dive for the builds and kind of give you a demonstration of more or less what is possible with this builder that's coming forward, right? Remember, all of this is subject to change. Nothing is guaranteed when it comes to potential builds. They actually always change it, even up to the last week, make updates, and they give us that information on Twitter. I tend to stay up to date with what they're saying. It's kind of sucks sometimes because you're like, oh, I know more or less what I want to do. And then they switch it around a little. And it is what it is. It happens. But all right, just to make sure that we're clear on that and that everybody's on the same page, I want to start off by saying that. All right, well, first things first, we're going to check out a bunch of very cool visuals. All right, these visuals are going to give you the exact information you need about the builds. And these are actual builds that they already made in the game. These are going to be in there. Now, again, it's subject to change, man. I'm going to be honest. This stuff changes all the time. So take it with a grain of salt. Don't get too hung up on it. You can see right here, we got a Kyrie. All right, let's keep track of certain things. He's 6'1". He has a 6'3" wingspan. So basically a short-handed type of guard. Not a lot of defense. You can see it's 74, which is serviceable actual to contest shots. Stealing, basically he's going to have a bronze steal, at least from last year's badges. It'll most likely be bronze. But what we paying attention to, he is a 90 overall, but right here. And his layups is a 93. Post shot an 81. No type of rebounds. This is where he spent all his points in the playmaking and shooting. And in here, this is the key to the build that you're looking at. All right. So high 95. This is going to give you Steve Francis or whatever dribble, almost every dribble in the game, I'm pretty sure, right here. Then on top of that, the pass is very good. You got bailout on bronze at minimum. And then speed with balls, a little slow for a Kyrie build. I would put this higher at a 91 to get a decent launch. But hey, it is what it is. And then the 89 for last year in 2025 was very strong. I mean, I was sparking from Limitless with that. So he's good. And then the midi is nasty at a 96. Of course, you can do cap breakers, so I would drop this down a ton to 94 and maybe more, which I'll talk about the builds in a minute. But the point is, this build has potential. You can definitely make this kind of build if you're really about that life. And remember, this year we got crazy cap breakers. If you didn't watch my previous video about cap breakers, you got to go watch that. Basically, you have cap breakers, one cap breaker, but this time they made it crazy potential to have all types of crazy cap breakers, okay? And what I mean by crazy, I mean insane. And you're going to see in a minute what I mean. I'll showcase it to you guys, but trust, it's going to be a wild time for this. Now, this type of build, if you pay attention to it, it's going to be able to get a high. You could probably get this all the way up to 94, 95, maybe more because of the max plus twos. You can probably get it very, very high. On top of that, you know, you got the midi already high enough for you to get good badges from it. So if you get this to 99, you're good to go. You don't really need nothing else. If a 96 will get you legend unpluckable, I believe, or Hall of Fame, you should be good from there. This is going off of 2K25's builder badges system. They probably changed the values. We don't know for sure. But this is the potential build, and I just kind of want to go through some of the builds just so you can see more or less what's out there. Game Litter's kind of similar to him, but he has way more dunking. You can see an 87. So he's going to do some contact dunks, short man contact dunks. And then his threes a little lower, but his dribbling's also a little lower as well. But he has that speed with ball. So his quickness is much higher. And you could just see his speed's going to be very good. Even his vertical is higher. So this guy's going to finish a little more. He's going to be more of a slasher type of build, but it has the potential, again, another 99 to do something special, be something special. So we're going to go down the list, look at Magic at 6'7". This is the type of build I usually always make, a 6'8", but we're going with a 6'7" this year because that's probably the height cap for this year. But as you can see, the main thing to pay attention is the 86 raw handle. This is the threshold I like to have on my big guards at minimum. And then a 75 is not that great, but it's serviceable. If you have to have it, you can find. What I love about him, he has high passing. If you really, really want, you can drop that down, in my opinion, and then boost up other things. For example, get this mid-range a lot higher so you can get extra badges for shooting. And it's going to help your three-pointer as well. If you get certain badges like Deadeye or something, whatever's in there. He doesn't have a lot of great finishing, but he's strong everywhere. He can do contact, standing dunks and driving dunks, and a decent layup player. This is the type of guy who can get a rebound on a small guard and put it right back up with the post control and the close shot. So he's no joke out here. People probably think this won't be a good build, but it can be very useful depending on your play style. His rebounds, he's going to out rebound any guard in the game. Basically, most 6'2" hardly got offensive rebounds. They might have some defensive or maybe some offensive, but rare. 70s is serviceable in this game. I've been able to do some work in the 70s for 2K25, and I do think the build is going to be similar to that. So got to take it with a grain of salt. To maybe they changed the badge system and values, but yeah. And so he's just a serviceable guard. I don't think he's like the guard you want to go and make, but I'm just giving you ideas. Now, the legend himself, he got great defense, a nice shooting, okay playmaking, and basically he can dunk on you with 87. This is a type of build I would prefer to make because the 91 steal is going to let you get gold, intercept, and pluck. So you'll be fine. And then an 85 perimeter is very nice for a small guard like this at 6'2". This is going to be decent, serviceable. Of course, you want crazy handles. You want to go off if you're playing competitively or something like that. And you're probably going to get the ball plucked a bit with a 99 lockdown guarding you. But again, depending on what play style you do, and then having the max +1s, you can get this up there. Max +2s also can get you up there, okay? And then the legend, this is the one that most people will have, a 99-3. They're trying to play competitively. They want to hit their shots. Maybe midi or 3, they'll have that up. And then no dunks, as you can see, all layups, only taking layups when you're wide open. And then the dribbles need a little, I would boost this up a little bit, and the speed with ball a little bit. Maybe drops his steal down a bit. Something got to go in here. I don't like the fact that his speed is off. When you got a 99-3, you want to be able to have good handles and speed with ball, in my opinion. So they would have to tweak that a little bit and make it even more viable so that you can be good to go. And then we're not going to get into all of the different things that I kind of seen, but I did want to touch on a build like this, which was very weird for them to make. No shooting, but it's like, what are y'all doing right here? No offense. It's a small 6'3" with 0 shooting, right? So I don't know what they were thinking, but it has a high layup and decent playmaking and great defense. But personally, I would never make a 6'3" without shooting, unless it's like a 99 dunk type of troll build, having fun. Well, you never know. I might make one of those. And we're not going to talk about the takeover. We have a whole bunch of breakdowns. But the point I'm pointing all this out is because you're going to be able to do some wild stuff with the takeovers, customizing it to what you like, and then also having a max +2 for your badges. So just imagine, okay, guess what? I didn't have a good build, but I put a max +2 so I could get better unpluggables when I play competitively. I want to get that bread, right? So that's where the difference lies in the game. And so for me, it should be fun and exciting. This is the new look at some of the features. We're going to cut down into more builds because I do got a couple more builds in here that were interesting to me and to see what they were trying to make. Again, this was just like demonstration of what they were doing. You got driving dunk at a 93. This is kind of like one of those slashing builds. I like it. And then high mid range, your 3-pointer is going to be the standstill type of stuff. You got decent dribbling. The defense ain't all that. Then everything else is regular. I don't like this build at all. Not even a little bit. Just being honest. But you can see right here, 99.3, hardly no rebounds, hardly no defense, a lot of dribbling. Some of these builds are like, what are y'all doing out here? What are y'all doing? But yeah, I want to get into the final builds and talk about some of the potentials here for bigger post guards, 6'8s. All right. Melo got an 80 dribble. That's a lot. Trust me, at 6'8, I love it. You can do some nice things. I want 86, but I looks like he can be able to reach that. If you can't see it from there, he's going to be able to reach that. I'm assuming. Okay. And if he does, then you're going to be able to go crazy. You just tweak this build a little bit, change a couple of attributes. He has a good 3, nice mid-range. You're going to be able to hit pretty good with that type of shot. And then you have to make a sacrifice. Do you really want close shot and post control? If you're a post player, sure. If not, you can drop this down, go crazy with something else in the build to make it even stronger as far as offense or defense. It's not a great defender, but it's okay. It has like the serviceable 70s. Like I said, 70s is reasonable, not necessarily good. It's just decent, if you're a good player. He can rebound pretty well for a 6'8. He's not going to be the center build, right? But potential is here, okay? And then remember the max plus 2s, max plus 3s, all that stuff. I want to kind of showcase a similar build, but this one, I definitely like the way that they got the mid-range. Remember, mid-range was strong last year. I think it's going to be strong again this year. And we have new layup packages. He has a 90 layups. The custom layups is going to be crazy. I do think this is nice. He has a 60 standing dunk. He has contact dunks. I mean, it's a good build at 6'6" for me personally. This is more or less what I would like. I'm going to make myself my big guards. I always do every year. It's always a fun way to play, in my personal opinion. But those are some of the builds, right? But I want to kind of take a moment and give y'all just some perspective on how this is going to work this year and just the current state of the way these builds are functioning and what you should expect when you go and you play this game as far as this year. So as we've seen, there's a lot of great potential with the new cap breaker system where you can max out specific things as well as the max plus ones. So it's going to be an overextended year where if you're creative and you take your time, which I'm going to do, and I'm going to have builds for it. Hey, take your time, consider the 3 things. One is the specialization. It is probably going to be a secret weapon in the game where you grind out 9 quests and then you get buffs for each of them. Then on top of that, the max plus ones and cap breakers. Both of those have new evolved systems that are going to really buff you up. So don't just go out there, make a quick build, say, oh, this looks pretty good, I'm done. You're going to not have the chance to really reach that potential, in my opinion. So taking the time, looking through carefully, not rushing, you're going to actually do very well. Okay. So take your time, do that, and you'll be good to go. I want to take some time and talk about a bunch of different things in here that we already seen. And I want to cover it for you on the channel. So make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Stick with me, man. We're going to keep doing what we do all year long, having some fun with it. I'm really excited about this year. I did not expect this big of a boost for the builder on a lot of cool little things. We'll see what happens for the potential for the builds. Next video is popping up on screen. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be breaking the build down even further with these new systems. Go check it out. See you there.